Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Sports Tech on Demand. We're here with Canon. Obviously, a busy year. Well, every year is a busy year for Canon, but they've had some really great product developments. Obviously, the shallow depth of field, the digital cinema cameras have really kind of moved to the full frame sensor cameras, which have kind of moved to the forefront of a lot of sports production. So we're joined by Ryan Snyder, who is Canon's senior specialist, product management team for Cinema EOS and professional video cameras. How are you, Ryan?
Doing great, Ken. Thanks.
Excellent. Thanks for joining us. And Josh Stoner, Canon Senior Specialist, Product Management Team, BCTV and Cinema Lenses. Josh, how are you?
I'm excellent, Ken. Thanks for asking.
Great. Well, good to see you both. Josh, we're going to start with you. Let's go through some lenses. Obviously, lots of developments. I know that some of my favorite camera people out there have been very excited with some of the developments, especially on the wide angle side of things. So why don't you walk through a quick little presentation of some of your lenses, and let's get the update.
Yeah, sure. Let me share my screen real quick. Here we go. So, we're really want to talk about our mid-range lenses right now. We have the CJ20 It's our UHD XS mid-range lens. It's got a 5mm wide angle with an impressive 20 times zoom that'll take you all the way out to 100 millimeters. The wide angle of view is at 87.7 degrees, which really gives you a good shot of the whole field, but then gives you that 20 times zoom to get in tight on the other end. This lens is ideal for basketball, hockey, even some football. It's ideal for 4K, HDR, and wide color gamut shooting, superb optical performance. It's very lightweight at 4.9 pounds, fits right on a lot of robo applications, and also it's not going to stress out a handheld camera operator. It also comes with our standard full service broadcast style drive unit. This is our premium lens. It's our top of the line 4K lens. We did recently introduce we're calling it its little brother, the CJ17ex6.2. It's not as wide, not as tight, but still an impressive 75.5 degrees at the wide angle of view. A little lighter at 4.7 pounds, but it's an UHD GC lens, which means it's got high optical performance. It does do 4K, but it's not the premium level of lens. So it's gonna be more for the mid-range type of purchases. And then in addition to that, we've seen a lot of our Cinema Servo lenses get out into the field. The CN10 is a very popular lens that we released about this time last year, I believe. 25mm wide angle, 10 times zoom out to 250, comes in EF or PL with an extender, 1.5 extender. When the extender's engaged, you get full frame sensor coverage, so you can put it on your full frame camera and still get the same coverage with only about a stop of light loss. It's very lightweight for this style of lens. It's 6.7 pounds. And the EF version, when paired on certain Cinema EOS cameras, does support the dual pixel autofocus that Canon has. Ryan will go into a little more detail on that in a little bit. And like our other two lenses, this one does come with the full servo broadcast style drive unit. This drive unit gives you some very unique options. Quick power on. When you turn it on, the encoders are already engaged. There's no initialization necessary to make this lens work. We've got the 16-bit encoders for virtual overlays. We have the 320-pin connectors where you can plug in your zoom and focus demand and still get the virtual output of the data, the metadata. And we have the onboard display that will allow you to customize the operation of this lens, or these lenses. All of our broadcast and our Cinema Servo lenses feature this Type 4 ENG drive unit.
Great. Excellent. So I know that from talking with, and I'll mention their names, Dina Sheldon and Jeff Zachary, who I know you know. Obviously, they were both wowed by the lens as far as the ability to go wide and tight. And for them, I'll speak for them, but then you can kind of back me up in this. They were saying, for example, the ability to get in the corner of an end zone on a court and be able to capture all the action, and then also dive in and get in close on somebody's face or an athlete is like just huge. So what have you also heard anecdotally from other people as well? I'm sure that they told you that themselves, but what else have you heard?
Yeah, so this lens is really popular was really popular at the NCAA men's basketball tournament in March and at the NBA. It's perfect for basketball. You can be under the basket, you can get the action right in front of you, and then when it goes down to the other end of the court, you just zoom out a little bit and you're able to capture all of that action at the same time.
Right.
Additionally, we're seeing some stand-up ENG news crews like this lens because of its versatility. You don't have to carry two lenses. You can have one lens, you have a wide shot, and then if you need to do some telephoto work, you're able to just zoom right out and pick up where you need to.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, anybody who's shot anything, whether you're just a average lay person out there shooting with two lenses, it's always nice if you don't have to switch lenses. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about carrying an extra case, an extra lens, the extra damage.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so Ryan wanted to bring you into the conversation because I think the next two slides pertain to you. Obviously the Megalodon, the Atlas Cam, there's lots of variations of your, and honestly, a lot of colleges have used your cameras over the years for, the university programs to shoot shallow depth of field when they can't, get on the sideline with a broadcast camera. So this is actually nothing new, but what have you kind of seen as far as this big ramp up of the use of, I guess more in live situations is like the new thing, right? Give us an overview of the shallow depth of field movement, because it really is a movement, I think, without a doubt. It is beyond a trend at this point, right?
Yeah, and it's super exciting. We, as you mentioned, it's nothing new, but with the pandemic and the quest for, new and different kind of looks in these broadcasts, that's really what spurred it on. It basically came down to somebody just saying, let's give it a shot. Let's try it. And the rest is, it's history. It's still a very, very young shot,
right.
in contrast to traditional broadcast. But the buzz that it's created, I after every single game, I have to go on and, look at, the comments about, oh, the camera quality. What was that? Was that an 8K camera? Was it a 12K camera? This is amazing. Right. And, so it's just super exciting. And we have some great cameras that are fitting in really well into the existing system camera setup. You can see on this chart here, basically we have identified three that are really, kind of the heroes for this kind of shot. Everything from our mirrorless full frame EOS R5 camera, super lightweight, great for the gimbals, the handheld gimbals running along the action, kind of splitting the difference with the C70 there in the middle. That's a cinema EOS camera with very, very full featured video features, but married with the ergonomics of that smaller DSLR or mirrorless camera. And that's a Super 35 sensor on there. We saw that get some really nice usage at the NFC Championships in Green Bay. It was the first time we got one of our cameras on air like that, and I think it did extremely well on a Steadicam application. And then all in with the C500 Mark II. While that's a high-end cinema camera, it is a very compact footprint. It saves a lot of weight on the Steadicam applications, and married that with our very lightweight EF and lenses, you can get a very, very mobile package that's very, very powerful. And we've been seeing some great usage out of the C500 Mark II. That's got that full frame sensor on there, so you've got that incredibly shallow look. It's a versatile camera too. You can run that sensor in a Super 35 mode if you wanted to throw a Cine Servo on it, or even a Super 16 if you want to go down to a B4 mount lens. But that full frame sensor is just phenomenal in low light. We saw some great examples during the NBA All-Star game, when they cranked the lights down for the intros, and it just sung. That color Canon color science just really came through with that. But all of this is kind of punctuated by what sets us apart, and we really feel that it's our autofocus system. The dual pixel CMOS AF system, again, nothing new, but it does continue to improve with each camera. This is really, what's setting us apart. It is extremely customizable, so operators can kind of feather the speed and the response the way that it works best for that particular application. You can change how fast the lens is going to actually focus. You can also change how sticky the system is, so how long it stays on a subject before hopping off. We've seen all the criticism on this shot has come from the focus hunting. And we feel that we have a system here combined with our EF or RF lenses on the R5 that really perform well, and it's something that you can rely on.
And is that in all three of the cameras? They all have the dual pixel?
It is. It is. There's a slightly different variation of it on the EOS R5, just due to development cycles and the fact that that's operating on a slightly different processing platform than our Cinema EOS. The R5 is definitely the most advanced in the autofocus side of things. It's got the dual pixel CMOS AF2. And that incorporated a couple things like ITR AFX tracking, which improves overall human head detection. It's not just looking at the face, it's using a deep learning algorithm, which basically references a lot of different heads and helmets and face masks and things like that. It can pick up on and provide better tracking for it. It also has a wider coverage area on the sensor, and more zones that you can work with. You can customize, the area of the AF a little bit better. However, the C70 and the C500 Mark II have a great implementation of the dual pixel CMOS AF as well. Wide coverage, face detection if you want to use that, and the same customization as well. Right. And the beautiful thing is it works with almost all of our EF autofocus lenses, our RF lenses, and as Josh alluded to, our Cinema Servo lenses, which is very, very unique.
From the Indiana Pacers, we'll get that hardware. Your 2021 Taco Bell Skills Challenge champion, Domantas Sabonis. Lift it up, let him see it.
It's interesting because you mentioned the NBA All-Star game, right? And it was amazing. And obviously it helps because the players were standing still, right? Which always makes it easier. And then, because he had this, he came right off the Super Bowl, where the Super Bowl, he had the players going around, and there were some issues there with the focus. So there are options, clearly, then there are better cameras to choose if you're looking to track players who may be moving around, versus if they're going to stand still, probably all three of them will do a great job. But if they're going to be running around, you may want to go towards the higher end. So there are options to help solve those issues, I guess, is the key.
Absolutely. And we've been getting incredible feedback from the operators that have been running them, and we're in a great position to be able to pass that information straight on to the engineers, so we can improve not only the products that are out there now, but work on future products.
Right. Excellent. So for both of you, what I find fascinating is, well, if you go to the last NAB in 2 years ago, when I would go visit the Canon booth, there'd be obviously the broadcast side, which is where I was always interested. Digital cinema, I was sort of interested in it, but it was kind of more for the pre-packaged shows. Now, all of a sudden, the conversations, I'm sure, are changing with your customers as far as their interests. So what does it mean for both of you as far as the nature of the conversations you have with broadcast customers, and just, the interchange of handing them off between each other, between you guys? I mean, how are the conversations different and broader than they used to be? Ryan?
Sure, I'll take it first before Josh. So it's getting easier, in my opinion, to bridge the gap. because we were on the camera side, we still aren't a system camera manufacturer. It came down to a very, very hard line as far as, this is a manual operation camera. This is for when you've got a script. This is when you can control lighting. And because of getting these out there in the field and getting people working on them and getting feedback and getting people interested in the look of it, we've actually made a lot of progress as far as getting things like control over RF working. So, every time we, get this feedback, we're making it a little bit easier just to incorporate these into an existing broadcast setup.
Right. So wait, quick follow-up then. Will this change, could this change the nature of cinematography and movie making also? Because the systems are developing in a different way that may allow them to do more aggressive moves and what have you, or they love the way that they work right now?
Yeah, it's possible. DPs are creatures of habit. Yes. I think that's a safe way of saying it, and I don't think that we're going to change too much as far as the way that traditional cinema and drama is shot. But no, it's certainly, keeping the cameras small and lightweight, like our Cinema EOS, that's the biggest advantage to being able to pull off, some radical stuff.
Sure.
You can always make it bigger. You can always build out the camera into what it needs to be for a certain production, but you can't make it smaller. And that's where we start. We start with a very, very compact but powerful camera that you can build on.
Right. Yeah, we love all the digital cinematographers, and obviously, look, the broadcast camera guys are the same way. The broadcast camera guys do not like autofocus in general. They trust their eyes. So Josh, what's your sense as far as the nature of conversations and how things are changing?
Well, they're changing, but they're changing for the better. So we're moving from having conversations just about lenses to now we're talking to customers about our cameras too. So we're broadening our scope as far as our penetration into the market.
Excellent. That's great. Well, thanks, guys. Really appreciate your time today. As always, good luck with everything, and we'll see you out there soon.
All right, thanks, Ken.
Thank you so much.